Hey guys, happy Friday. We have survived an entire week of digital learning lessons. Can you believe it? I would have never thought in my 17 years of teaching that I'd have a whole week of digital learning lessons. And we're going to have another one next week. So fasten your seatbelts because we're going to keep it moving. Alrighty, so go ahead and take out your homework from yesterday, which was to solve two-step equation word problems. We did the first three together, and then you guys had to work on 4 and 5 on the first page. You can pause and analyze your work, or you can download the PDF file and check that with a little bit more time and more specifically, so you can have time to analyze your work and figure out if you did it correctly or not. And you had a second page to do, 6 through 10. You guys, I made a mistake right here. When I was making this worksheet, I didn't realize that I was copying and pasting, and this one you got as a freebie, so you're welcome. All right, so check out those answers, and we're going to go ahead and get started for today. So your learning target, what I want you to be able to do by the end of this lesson is for you to be able to solve multi-step equations. So we've been working with one-step equations, two-step equations, and now it's time to bump it up a notch. Hey, babe. My husband's walking by making faces at me. Okay, let me get back to it. All right, so in your attachments for today, you have your first sheet. It's not really any notes today because we're just going to get right into it and just calculate. So the types of equations that we have already studied are one-step, two-step, and two sets of two steps with a fraction. But look at what's left. We have combining like terms on either side of the equal sign, combining like terms by having to move terms across the equal sign, distributive property, and you know it, distributive property with a fraction. Gotta have the fractions. Okay, down here I typed out some helpful tips that will take us through being able to solve. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have to close this door because my husband keeps making fun of me. All right, so down here are some helpful tips for you to be able to navigate through solving the equations. So let's just look at them real quick. So obviously these equations are going to be very long. And in order to make them more easy to solve, we're going to simplify the equations by combining like terms. That means if we have variables, two sets of variables with the same letter, we're going to put those together. We're going to combine them. If we have constants, we're going to combine constants with constants. Okay, doing both of these steps will end up giving us a two-step equation. After combining like terms, we're going to rewrite the equation in a more simple way. And after that, the goal is to isolate the variable. Okay, so I have these same notes typed up right here that we will keep referring to throughout the lesson, or you can have these beside you and kind of like check your way down as you solve each one. So the papers, the documents I have prepared for you are very similar to the one-step equations that we've worked on and the two-step equations. And I tried to block it off by the similarity of equations. So what we're going to do is we are going to work on the left column. We're going to do all of these together. And on the next page, all of these together. And then your homework and independent practice will be to work on the ones on the right-hand side on all the pages. Okay. All right, let's get started. Let me show you how this works. So we'll start with the first one, which reads 7, I'm going to need some room here, 7x plus 2x minus 7 equals 21 plus 8. If you would like to put your equation line here to keep your work separate, you may do that. Okay, so let's refer to our helpful tips and tricks. All right, the first thing is to analyze your equation and try to simplify your equation by combining like terms. So let's look at both sides of the equation and see if we can put anything together. All right. All right, hopefully you're noticing that that 7x, that's a variable with an x, that's a variable with an x, those can be combined. So what is 7x plus 2x? That's going to be 9x minus 7 on this side. I'm going to drop my equal sign. Okay, look at the right side. Is there anything that can be combined? We combine variable with variable. Can we combine a constant with constants? Remember, constants are numbers that are not tied up to a variable. They are constantly alone. So let's do 21 plus 8. 21 plus 8 is 29. So all we did right now was combine variables, combine constants. Look at what you have left. Does that look familiar? That is a two-step equation. You should be able to solve this without my help from here. All right, so when we're solving a two-step equation, you should move which number first? The constant. You should move the constant first. In this case, the constant is -7. So you're going to move the constant by using inverse operation. If it's -7, we're going to say plus 7, cancel, plus 7, 29 plus 7 is 36 equals 9x. Look, now you have a one-step equation. Like, I'm telling you, it's really not that hard. We're just going to practice so we can become masters. Okay, what's happening to the x? It's being multiplied by 9. So we should be dividing by 9 on both sides so that x equals 36 divided by 9 is 4. So after combining our like terms, did we rewrite the equation in a simpler way? Yeah, we did, because we ended up with a two-step equation. Did we isolate the variable by using inverse operations? We did that too, and that allowed us to get to a one-step equation, and from there, we got our solution. All right, let's try the second one. The second problem reads 5 minus 6y plus 9y equals -15 plus 5. To equation line. And let's start making groups, right? We want to make it more simple so that our life will be easier. All right, let's just pick one side to focus on. So I'm going to focus on this side. And I want to put those y's together. Now, I got a question for you. You see that 6? What sign does it have in front of it? Minus sign, which in this case is going to be interpreted as a negative sign. That sign belongs to the 6. So in your mind, you have to say, what is negative 6 plus 9? So they're different signs. Different signs subtract. Keep the sign of the higher number, then you'll be exact. So that's 3y. And let me ask you this. Is that a positive 3y or a negative 3y? That is a positive 3y. Bring down what you have left. That 5, slide it down. Equals. Okay, look at the right side of the equation. Can any of that be combined? Yeah, absolutely. That negative 15 plus 5 can be combined to a negative 10. At this point, you're at a 2-step equation. I want you to go ahead and solve it by yourself, hit pause, check back in with me to see if you got the right answer. While you're working, I'm going to go ahead and work it out. So I'm at a 1-step equation. I'm dividing by 3. Y equals 5. And a negative divided by a positive is a negative 5. Negative 5 is your answer for the second one. Okay? For homework, you're going to try the 2 that are right beside this problem, just so that you can continue to practice on your own. All right? Okay, so we're going to bump things up a notch. So we're going to slide down to the second section of your notes, and we're going to work on these 2. We have 3x plus 2 equals 6x minus 1. Okay. This one's a little different than the 2 prior ones that we had, because on the previous ones, we had the x's on both sides, and then we had the constants on another side. Now we have an x and an x and a constant, and oh my God, what do I do? Honestly, just pick a side, okay? Strategize ahead of time and figure out. I want you to put all of your variables on one side and all of your constants on the other side. Personally, for me, I love to work with positive numbers. So if I strategize, you see this 3x? I can move that 3x to this side by doing the inverse operation. Watch. So is 3x positive or negative? It's positive. So watch what happens. If I subtract 3x from this side, it's gone from the left. But I've combined it with the 6x over here on the right. So 6x minus 3x is 3x. Okay, bring down whatever you have left. All right, on this side, I have a negative 1 left. I have an equal sign, and I have a 2. Okay, remember, my goal, our goal, is to get x by itself. So that negative 1 has to move over here, and that 3 also has to go. So how can we move this 1? How are you going to do it? by adding 1. Add 1, add 1. Those cancel. 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 equals 3x. Okay, we are almost there. What's left to do? Isolate the variable by using inverse operation. So x is being multiplied by 3, so I'm going to divide by 3, divide by 3. The ones with the x, with the variable, are going to cancel. Hold on. So I have x left by itself, and 3 divided by 3 is 1. Okay? Yeah, this one was a little bit more complicated, but I haven't really taught you any new skills because we're still using inverse operation, and we're just making groups. We're making sure that the variables are on one side of the equation and that the constants, which are the numbers that stand alone, go to the other side of the equation. So let's try 19 minus 3z. Let's try that one. 19 minus 3z equals 9 minus 12z. Get your line going. Okay, get all of your z's to one side, it doesn't matter which one, and all of your single numbers to the other side. All the single numbers, all the single numbers. Okay. What do I want to do? I think, all right, I think I want to move the z's over here. Or, nah, I'm going to move the z's over here so that I can end up with a positive z, because this coefficient of the z is larger than this one, which means I'm going to be able to get a positive because I'm about to add 12z. Cancel, right? Now you guys, just real quick, I'm not dividing by 12, because if I do, then I'm separating the 12 and the z. I don't want to do that yet. I do want to separate the z, but all the way when we get down here, okay? So not just yet. Right now I want to move that whole chunk. So I'm adding 12. All right, negative 3 plus 12. So those are different signs. Subtract. Keep the sign of the higher number, which is 12, which is positive, then you'll be exact. You see why I wanted to move the 12 to this side? All right, bring down your 19 equals 9. Now this 19 has got to go over here. So it's positive, so I'm going to subtract 19. Those cancel. What is 9? Take away 19. So these are different signs, subtract. Keep the sign of the higher number, then you'll be exact. Negative 10 equals 9z. Now we have to do what? We have to divide by 9. So by 9, z equals a negative divided by a positive is a negative. Oh, look, you have an improper fraction. Improper fraction has to change to a mixed number. So you have to go 10 on the side, do some long division, divided by 9. 9 goes into 10 one time. 1 times 9 is 9. Subtract, you get 1. So now we're going to use these 3 important numbers to create a mixed number. So we have a negative 1 whole and 1 ninth. This is our remainder, which becomes numerator. And we divided everything by 9, so 9 is my denominator. Here is your answer. Okay? So again, on your homework, you're going to try these two. All right, we still have 2 more sets to do, 2 of different problems. So hold your horses. Now this one is distributive property. So distributive property tells you that you're going to be doing what? You're going to be distributing numbers through multiplication, which means you're going to have some parentheses. So here we go. We have 2 parentheses, y minus 3, close the parentheses, equals 4y plus 6. That's your line. Before you do anything, you can't combine anything yet until you do your distributive property. So you need to think to yourself, what is 2 times y? That is 2y. What is 2 times negative 3? That is negative 6. Equals, bring down what you have left, 4y plus 6. See, now you end up with one of the equations that we just got through solving. You have y's on either side and you have constants on either side. So figure out what you want to move where. I am strategizing, so I want to move that 2y over here to the right. So it's a positive 2y, so I'm going to say minus 2y, cancel, minus 2y. 4y minus 2y is 2y, plus 6, which is bringing it down, equals negative 6. We are at a 2-step equation. This 6 has to go. And this 2 will have to go also, but the 2 will go last. So that 6 is a constant. We need to move it. It's a plus 6, so we're going to say minus 6, cancel, minus 6. Oh, look, these are same sign, add and keep. If I add them, I get 12. I keep the sign. That's a negative 12. Negative 12 equals 2y. At this point, you should say, oh yeah, I got to divide by 2. Cancel, divide by 2, y equals a negative divided by a positive is a negative 6. Voila. So the distributive property problems allow us to practice all the skills of the previous equations that I just taught you. Okay, so really by the end of this, you will have a ton of practice with the higher level equations. All right, on to, oh, I love the next one. I love it, you probably don't, but, all right, here we go, negative times x plus 1 equals negative 2. Distribute to 5 minus x. Do you notice what I did to you here? I gave you 2 distributions. One on the left, one on the right. I know. I'm just doing my job. You got to remember what math stands for. Mental abuse to humans. Here we go. So right now you're thinking, what? How in the world am I supposed to distribute a negative sign with no number? Well, does not that negative sign have an invisible 1 attached to it? It does. So that's what you need to do. We're going to distribute a -1. Watch. -1 times x is -1x. -1 times +1 is -1. Equals. Okay, start distributing on this side. -2 times 5 is -10. And -2 times a -x, okay, hold up. A negative times a negative is positive. So 2 times x, and -2 times -x is going to be a positive 2x. Okay, strategize. Do you want to move the 2x over here? And then you will have to do subtraction of -2x. Or do you want to take this -1x and move it over here? I want to take this -1x and add it to my 2x. That cancels. 2x plus 1x is 3x. It's positive, so you have to say that. Bring down your -10 equals -1. All right, that -10 has got to go. So we're going to say plus 10 plus 10. What's -1 plus 10? Well, that's going to be 9. 9 equals, oh, I forgot to cancel over here. 9 equals 3x divided by 3, divided by 3. X equals 9 divided by 3, 3. There you go. What do you think? Yeah, I know this is real stuff. This is real algebra. But if you want to be successful in 7th grade accelerated, I suggest you do a good job of learning it now and ask me all the questions that you have now so that next year you'll have a very successful year. All right, so that concludes the distributive property. But guess what is left? Distributive property with your favorite, fractions. I know fractions are your favorite, but they're actually not that bad. So let's try these two, and then we will be done for today. All right, so our first problem reads 2 distributed to a plus 4. The whole thing has to be divided by 2 equals 12. What's your line? All right, before you can do anything, you got to distribute that to this coefficient. So 2 times a, that is 2a. 2 times 4, that is positive 8. Divided by 2 equals 12. All right, I have to get a by itself. So what can you get rid of? The easiest. What do you think? That division of 2 can be undone, and it will start to unravel the problem. Because this is being divided by 2, I can multiply by 2 and cancel. But you have to do it to both sides. All right. 12 times 2 is 24. 24 equals, what do you have left? 2a plus 8. So now you have a two-step equation, which we learned yesterday, Thursday, and Wednesday. Okay, move the constant. So minus 8, cancel, minus 8. Well, 24, take away 8, you should be at 16 equals 2a. And now we're going to divide by 2, divide by 2. A equals 16 divided by 2 is 8. And that is a distributive property with fraction. All right, let's try the next one down, the one right below it. And then I will leave you to work because you're going to need some time to get through all of this. And when you're working through this, please get yourself in a quiet spot where you can concentrate and not have a lot of distractions, okay? Because working with those signs and moving numbers and variables can get a little crazy if your attention is, you know, not completely focused. So, all right, here we go. So 4 distributed to n plus 3, close parentheses. All of that divided by 5 equals n minus 3. Put your line. Probably need to go all the way down. All right, first thing we need to do is go ahead and get rid of the distribution. 4 times n, 4n. 4 times positive 3, positive 12. The whole thing has to be divided by 5. And on the other side, we have n minus 3. Okay. Wait a second. Now what are we going to do? I have this n and this 3 and this, whoa. Just take it one step at a time, all right? Your gut is probably telling you, go ahead and get rid of that 5. If it's dividing by 5, then what do we want to do? We want to multiply by 5. But wait, if you multiply by 5 here in order to cancel, don't you have to multiply by 5 on this side? Yeah, you do. Do we multiply by 5 just to the negative 3? No. You have to multiply by 5 on the whole thing. Well, how are we supposed to do that? Well, you are going to give yourself your own distribution problem. Because we have to take this whole thing, and what do we have to do with it? Multiply by 5. I'm going to give myself a little room here because I'm going to take this 5, and if I put it as a distribution here, am I taking the entire right side and multiplying by 5 like I'm supposed to? Yeah, I am. All right, 5 times n, 5n. 5 times negative 3, negative 15. Bring down your equal sign. Bring down what you have left. 4n plus 12. Okay, so now you have one of the equations from earlier, from about like 15 minutes ago. Let's see what you remember. We want to combine variables with variables and constants with constants. So what do you want to move and where do you want to move it to? That's your decision. You see how that's a 5n? and that's bigger than 4n. So I want to subtract 4n, cancel it from this side, move it to the right. Minus 4n. 5n, take away 4n, that is 1n. Bring down everything that you have left to have a minus 15 equals and a 12. It's positive, but I don't really need to put the plus sign there right now. So I'm not going to. Okay, now you have a two-step equation. So that 15 needs to be moved to this side. So because it's minus 15, we're going to go add 15, cancel, add 15. That is going to give us 27 equals 1n. Oh wait, didn't we get to, that's our answer. Isn't that our answer, right? Don't we know that whenever we get a variable isolated, there's an invisible 1 there? Yeah, there you go. We just arrived at our solution. Okay, so you guys, all right, I really need you to put your mathlete muscles on, and I need you to get to work on all of these, whoops, on all of these and all of these. Please take your time. Don't rush through it. We're going to go over them on Monday when we start class again. I'll upload the PDF file so that you can look at it with more time and examine it step by step. If you don't understand something, email me. Okay? That's what I'm here for. All right, you guys. Have a great weekend. I'll see you later.